What's up, everybody? It's the Sports League podcast with your host, Alex Leak. We got a special guest on the show, Qadry Ismail. Great to have you on, Qadry.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, Qadry played 10 years in the NFL, nicknamed the Missile, and played 3 seasons for the Ravens and won Super Bowl 35. This is going to be a 2023 Baltimore Ravens season preview. And we'll just get right into it. Qadry, Lamar Jackson has gotten hurt the last 2 seasons, around week 13 and week 14. The Ravens were 8-3 and leading the division before he got hurt. This offseason, he receives his big 5-year, $260 million deal. Are you excited about Lamar being fully healthy and happy with that new contract going into the season?
Well, I think when you look at the landscape of the NFL, you need a franchise quarterback. Lamar Jackson has clearly shown he is more than capable of being the Ravens franchise quarterback. A 46-15 record is quite remarkable. Taking them to the postseason, and I think when it came to negotiation, the way in which he negotiated his contract by himself with his mom, had some other counsel, but for the most part, he and his mom did it by themselves and got a deal that they felt was a strong one. And I think both them and the Ravens are happy with it. And so now it's to the business of football, which, yeah, I know there's going to be an exciting year with some of the things that I've seen so far in training camp.
Yeah, and they get a new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, from the University of Georgia, back-to-back national champion as their offensive coordinator. Do you like the hire of Todd Monken? Do you think he helps Lamar in this offense?
Absolutely. So Todd comes in with a personality that is about flexibility within the offense to attack 53 and a third, which is what he has said in his opening press conference some months back now. But you attack 53 and a third, and then basically, you do it with a variety of looks, variety of formations, and you do it with talent that you have on the team. And I think that it's a stark contrast from what Greg Roman did. While Greg Roman's offense was successful at times and really historic in that 2019 season, the one thing I think for this offense, it has a chance to be adaptable and not predictable. And so this league is always about, changing and adapting to what another team does, especially in your division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they had a really good counterpunch. I think they have a good counterpunch now with Todd Monken at the helm.
Yeah, and they also add a bunch of weapons. You had Odell Beckham Jr., Nelson Aguilar, and then I really like drafting wide receiver Zay Flowers in the first round, clearly emphasizing the receiving weapons around Lamar. You got to be excited about those guys, and especially Zay Flowers. I really like him.
Yeah, so Zay, I think his skill set is one of the run after catch variety, ability to get the ball in space and make a guy miss and get upfield and get big chunks of yards. And I think that's going to be really pivotal for what the Ravens are trying to do. Again, you look at the Odell Beckham signing, I think his veteran presence is going to be really awesome for Lamar Jackson. Rashad Bateman, he's come back. He's healthy. And I think they have a well-rounded group of receivers. Arguably, some would say is the best receiving core for Lamar Jackson that he's had in his career thus far.
Yeah, and Odell Beckham Jr. has played under Todd Monken before with the Browns in 2019, so some familiarity there as well.
Of course, and I think that's really a key point. The fact that he knows Todd Monken and Todd knows him. Anytime you have a dynamic receiver, the likes of an Odell Beckham, you want to make sure that he is not necessarily satisfied, like you're placating to him, but you want to just know how to use him and use, his dynamic abilities. And so I think it's really cool when you look at the bigger picture, what, they're going to be and be about.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as a Chicago Bears fan who covers the entire league, I've kind of adopted the Ravens as my second favorite team. And one of the main reasons is their trade for Roquan Smith. I hated that the Bears got rid of him. I'm a big Roquan Smith fan going back to Georgia, and I love that the Ravens got him. And last season, after they add him, they immediately improve into a top 5 defense. How valuable do you think Roquan Smith is to that defense?
Oh, it's unquestioned. Like his presence, as you mentioned, is just out of this world. I mean, he does an amazing job, from so many ways. The way in which he puts guys into position, the playmaking ability that he has, just all of that. I think his style is just tremendous. So I am pleased to say, like, with the bigger picture, how they look. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then they add corner Ronald Darby and pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. Do you like these two additions? It sucks Marlon Humphrey is going to miss a couple weeks, but you get Darby, you get Jadeveon Clowney,
Yeah, I think with, Darby, he's going to be a capable, guy, a capable backup. I think it's going to be, really pivotal. But, that Marlon's not going to be out for long. So that's a good thing. I think at the same time, look at what is going on with Jadeveon. I think it was important to kind of get a guy. Anthony Weaver is their D-line coach. He had him when he was in Houston. Okay. Chuck Smith, who is their pass rush specialist coach, he also worked with Jadeveon. So, there's a lot of pieces there that I think is going to really fit for this Ravens ball club to put themselves in a position defensively to be successful.
Absolutely. And then Clowney mentioned one of the reasons he wanted to join the Ravens is because he saw what John Harbaugh did when he asked his players, do you want to go for it? And he liked that coach that, placates to his players a little bit. Do you like that as a head coach, or do you think a head coach should be like an unemotional decision maker? How do you see that?
No, I think for John, he's been in the league for such a long time, and you got to change with the different groups that come into the league, and there's different, personalities, there's different, ways guys are, communicating and handling themselves. So I think ultimately with John Harbaugh, and it's to his credit, it's the way in which he, I think just look, if this is what motivates a guy to play well, then let's go. And so I think the idea of listening, understanding, and adapting your style is critically important. And then ultimately you got to win. So if you can win, that's a good thing. And I think that's something that John Harbaugh in his tenure can say he's been a winner.
Absolutely. Now the Ravens did lose veteran defensive end Calais Campbell to the Falcons and corner Marcus Peters to the Raiders. How big of losses are those guys, especially Calais Campbell?
Yeah, well, I mean, both guys, I think, really, defined what it was like to play like a Raven, to be a Raven. Marcus Peters, of course, was coming on ACL tear, and, had some really up and down play last year that was kind of tough. But I think ultimately, when you look at it, they're going to be, Rock Ya-Sin now is the guy that has replaced them. So they're going to be in a position where it's about change. And, the NFL is always a next man up mentality. So next man up.
Absolutely. And then they also lost Ben Powers to the Broncos, a starting guard. And right now on pace is a 6th-round rookie to start at left guard. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but are any concerns over the 6th-round rookie starting at guard?
Well, no, actually, John Simpson has supplanted him, and they're going to go with him. That was announced. So he's going to be set into play, which is fine. And I think, you got quality backups, and at the same time, Salah, who came in, he did a tremendous job of putting himself in the mix and in the conversation to at least even, play. So I think it's one of those cases where, you know that you got a good offensive line group when, it's tough decisions like that have to be made.
Yeah, absolutely. And then how about Justin Tucker? I mean, as a Bears fan who went from Robbie Gould to Cody Parkey, I know how valuable it is to have a kicker that is automatic, that you trust and can hit all the kicks. Justin Tucker, how valuable is he? I mean, best kicker in the league and probably the strongest leg. Such a valuable player.
Well, Justin Tucker is so ironic. He was an undrafted rookie free agent. Came in, they told him, hey, look, you need to change your style of kicking, which is incredibly difficult to do, but he did it. He literally felt, with the consistency of the style of kick, most guys usually have some level of a draw or a fade if you're into golf, but the way the ball moves in the air. And so for him, it was a straighter shot. And in the AFC North, you really have all your stadiums are outdoor stadiums. You're looking at Lake Erie that, you're playing up in Cleveland. Baltimore has its challenges as well with wind and the swirling wind late in, December. So ultimately for him to do what he does is just out of this world. He's, I think, the greatest kicker of all time. And, I have a high affinity for my guy, Matt Stover, who I won the Super Bowl with, and he was as reliable of a kicker as it got. But, Justin Tucker in the preseason, this past preseason, he hits a 60-yard field goal right through the upright. So, amazing kicker.
Yeah, I always remember that kick he made against the Lions. It was like 67 yards or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he had also a 61-yarder against the Lions too. So he has a good feels and good vibes when he goes up to Ford Field.
Absolutely. So looking forward to the season here. I mean, at Bengals week 2, big opportunity there, to take on Joe Burrow, and that's probably their biggest, toughest opponent in the division. And then a 3-game road stretch, week 4, week 5, week 6, at Browns, at Steelers, at Titans. How do you see, what are you looking forward to looking at the schedule coming up?
Yeah, man. All those games in the division, on the road, get them out of the way early, but it also make it work both ways. It cuts both ways. Like if you sit there and, you handle your division on the road early on while you're fresh, that gives you a comfort and a cushion, heading into the final part of the season when you got to be playing your best, and normally good teams are playing their best. But the other part of it is it puts pressure on you to, handle the noise of being a road team. And if the Ravens want to get to where they want to get to this year, you got to take care of your opponents in the FC and especially your division.
Yeah, a very tough division. Even the Steelers and Browns are, considered the bottom of the division, both very tough teams. I know, you're a former Raven, you follow the Ravens, but how about George Pickens, who had a great rookie season and has been lighting it up in the preseason? He's going to be a special receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think his ability to make the spectacular catch look routine is just so evident. Yeah, that's what separates him. I think he's going to be really incredible for the Steelers.
Yeah. So how do you see this season going? I got the Ravens winning 10 to 12 games, competing for the division, possibly taking out the Bengals and winning the AFC North. Do you think they can have what it takes to dethrone the Bengals and take the division, get that home playoff game?
Absolutely. I think if you look at this year's ball club, it's a different ball club. If they can stay healthy and they got out of the training camp into the regular season relatively all hands on deck. All the main players are back. They're ready. They're, looking good. I think this is a situation where, my goodness, I mean, you say 10 to 12. I'm like, how about 13 to 14 wins? I think this is a team that can win in chunks and in bunches. And they have a coordinator, I think, can, help navigate them when it's time to make an adjustment. I think they're going to have a guy that can, help make that adjustment, if you will, for what is needed in the regular season.
Absolutely. I think it's a Super Bowl caliber team on paper, and then it just what do you do on the field, and it's going to be a fun season. Can't wait. Season right around the corner. What have you been working on post your playing career? I see missile training. Is that your business?
Yeah, so missile training is basically a human and sports performance movement based training. Basically, doesn't matter the age, from 6 all the way up to oldest client is 84. People who want to move better, stronger, understand a lot better as far as their body and their energy levels, like that, to me, is everything when you look at life and how you are able to have what I call longevity. But then at the same time, from an athletic standpoint, how can you be durable? I have a lot of athletes, young athletes that, for example, I have a young girl, very competitive cheer, and my God, man, I mean, you talk about athletics and the things that they put their body through. I mean, this isn't, your typical high school stand on the sideline type cheering. This is, an intense amount of tumbling, intense amount of maneuvers, and she unfortunately had a dislocated knee, and literally, her season looked to be over. Well, within 4 weeks, I have her back walking, no limp, no anything, jumping, moving, and she's going to be part of her competitive cheer team. So that's just one example of so many that I've been able to get people back out on the field, but also prepare people for the field as well, their opportunity to play and play well. So lots of fun, and I love it. And if anybody is interested, missiletraining.com is my website, and I do virtual trainings as well. So all over the country, doesn't matter.
Awesome. So cool. Well, thanks for taking some time to come on the show, Qadry. It's always great to have you on. And best of luck going forward with your missile training and with your Baltimore Ravens.
Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and have a great week, guys. Peace out.